100 all the time. I've made some modifications on the bike. I've got some Pro Taper bars on it now. It's a mid-high instead of the high CR bend. Hopefully like that. I got a little holder here, so I put my cell phone in, and I've added cameras to it. These bags I had for the KLX, they fit on this just fine. I wanted to put a skid plate on it. I ordered one from, I think it was Rifle.
I ordered it from Ricochet, not from Rifle. Ricochet.
And it just wasn't the right one, so I'm trying to contact them to do something about that. So no skid plate. I put some adjustable levers on it. And I think that's about it for the mods right now. Again, no skid plate, so I just want any rocks, right? I had to tighten up the chain. I think I got a little over 40 miles on it, and the chain was starting to loosen up a little bit. Check the tires. Tires are holding pressure pretty well. And so with that, I'm going to back this thing out and get going. See you, hopefully, again someday. And I've got the inReach going, I think, so. So 10:45, I was trying to get away at 10:30, but it should still get me back around noonish, maybe a little after. I guess the benchmark I'm looking at, I saw I did it in an hour and 11 minutes way back when on the KLX in the summer. Good weather, good road, I'm sure, and this probably will not be that. And I'm not on the, I said the KLX, I'm not on the 300. The owner's manual recommends crazy low speeds in all the gears while you're breaking it in up to 250 miles. And basically, I'm just making sure I don't rev it up all that high. And there's no tachometer on it anyway, but those speeds are just a bit too low, even for doing a ride like this. I think a high of 37 in 6th gear. I was doing 40 just then. I don't know what I was in. I was probably in 4th or 5th gear. Or like, when 37, it was more like 34, 35 on the GPS, but regardless anyway. Hope I won't have to do it, but I did bring tools to change a tire. Brought one inner tube, just a front, which you could stick in the back in a pinch if you had to, although boy, I hope I don't have to do any of that. Back in the day when I was riding, on my dirt bikes, I carried everything to change a flat too, and I could change a flat in about 25 minutes, and I think now it'd take me a lot longer than that. Oh, stand up a little bit, see how these new bars are. They're a little bit taller than the stock bars, not a lot though. I might wind up wishing I put the high bend on instead of the mid. Surprisingly, the new bars, they're about 800 millimeters in width, and the bars that I took off and measured them were about 830, so these are slightly narrower, which 800 is still pretty wide. So I was looking up the specs on this bike, and the rear shock has a little bit under 9 inches of travel, and the front forks have just slightly, I think 7.9 inches of travel, slightly under 8 inches. And it's quite a bit more than the old KLX230S pre-1924. The 23s and earlier had about what the Sherpa had, so it's got more travel. And that's a good thing for me. So far, the riding position seems better with the Pro Taper CR mid bend bars. So I'm carrying some tools with me, and when I tighten up the chain, I just used the tools that I had on the bike, just kind of checking out, seeing what I had to get things done with, and I was able to loosen up the axle and do the adjuster bolts, which means obviously at that point I could also take the rear wheel off if I had to change a flat back there. And I double checked, and I got tools I need for taking the front wheel off. Of course, what I don't know is getting off that axle nut bolt on this. It was super tight, and I'm not carrying a fairly long wrench to loosen it up with. So I cheated a little bit. I got a big rubber mallet out to wang on the wrench with to get it loosened up, but I didn't tighten it back up that much. It does have a cotter key in there, so it's not going to come loose. Those are things you find out, hopefully, when you're at home and you got the tools to do what you need to do. And since I'm starting up riding up here in the mountains again, I bought another inReach, but it's made by, well, they bought out DeLorme, so it's Garmin now, and it's the inReach Mini 2. I know the Mini 3 is just coming out, but I mean the Mini 2 seemed fine. It was just counted pretty heavily. So I've got that with me. It's in my upper breast pocket of the jacket that I'm wearing, and it's broadcasting a track right now that my wife can follow where I am. Now this is the second video I'm making on this bike. I've ridden it a number of times now, but all fairly short. That's why I only had 41 miles on it when I started out this morning. And I think, looking at other tracks when I've done this will add about 23. And really, to be able to quit worrying about revving it up, I got to get to 250 miles on it. Then they say just ride it moderately until you get to 600, but they don't give any restrictions. And I typically don't rev out these bikes anyway, so I'm sure at that point I can just pretty much ride it the way I want to, but I got to get to 250. And I'll change the oil on it when I get to 600. I haven't looked, but I mean, that typically, when you do it. Could I lower this a little bit if I wanted to? I think I could, but I don't know that I want to yet. It's lower right now than I had my KLX300, even after lowering it. Now, any number of things could possibly stop me, make me turn around. There could be snow up here, but I kind of doubt it. I'm guessing that it will be icy. If the ice doesn't get too thick, I mean, it's usually not that bad on a dirt road. You can kind of crunch through it and get a little bit of traction. Not so good if you're on asphalt or concrete or something, but usually not quite as bad on a dirt road, although depending on how much there is, it could be. So my elevation is 3,500 feet about right now. And I'm not sure that I really remember just how I get. I think I only climb about maybe 2,400, which could get me around 6,000, maybe even a little bit less, but I don't know. Put her in first gear and see what happens here. This puts along very nicely in first gear at low speeds. KLX230S did also when I put a smaller countershaft sprocket on it. With a stock-sized one, it didn't lug down quite as low as I wanted it to for stuff like this. I think the new bars are helping me stand up this time. The old bars, I was just a little too hunched forward. There's another one of those sections. And of course, then there are those trails that kind of parallel this road, to one side or the other, that are crazy, rocky, steep, and hard, which I will not ride this bike on those. This is hard enough. See, I haven't ridden out here in a very long time, so you kind of forget just what's what. Get a little tired standing there out of practice, on top of which I wasn't getting forward as much as I should have. I was putting a little too much pressure on my arms and hands, hanging on. To really do it right, I needed to be a little more weight forward, but I'm just not there yet. Now, this is pretty bumpy, and actually it's not a bad thing for me to sit on this, because that way I'm not pounding my knee so hard, and I've been warned, don't pound that knee if you want your joint replacement to last. Nothing wrong sitting down, but it does mean I got to go slower. I was in first gear, and now I'm in second. I think second lugs down pretty good, too. Now, this rough, challenging section on the road in the past, it only took me around 10 minutes to ride it, although I think I was going faster than I am now. And after that, there's still dirt roads and such, but not challenging. Just got to get past this initial steep, rocky part. So sitting, I'm actually doing a little better job keeping my weight forward and keeping the pressure off my arms and hands. And I don't know, life changes, and I used to stand up just always. I never sat down when I was trail riding or any kind of riding on a dual sport or pure dirt bike. I had lots of just pure dirt bikes. But I may be becoming more of a sit down and put around sort when it comes to a trail bike like this. Still in second gear. I mean, it's okay, I'm 10 miles an hour, but it still seems to fairly low RPM in second gear, has plenty of torque. Doesn't feel like it's about to flame out or anything. Fingers crossed, but so far, I mean, for the way I ride, I think I accurately called it. I think this bike has plenty of power for what I want to do. The only place where I know I'm going to wish I had a little more is if I get out on a Highway 89 or something with the 65 mile an hour speed limit, but if I do that, it's only going to be for a few miles. Just get it done quick and get back onto the slow roads. But so far I'm going up all this in second gear, which it's not bad. I think second gear would be very good for rough forest routes like this and for trail riding. There are going to be times when you're going to want to go lower, but I was down to 7 or 8 miles an hour, lugged it a little bit going uphill like this, but it pulled through, it didn't flame out. Okay, I flew a drone here once. I didn't bring a drone today, I didn't want to fool with it. This is kind of a little bit of a shakedown ride. I'm at 48.12. I know this is not the high point. I'm going to go down a little bit and then I'll go up again. So far so good though. I think there's a good chance I'm going to make this loop. I'll try standing up again. This isn't so steep now. And now I'm actually doing a better job of getting my weight forward enough where I'm not putting much pressure on my hands or arms. This is the last little bit rough spot. And it's not that rough, not as bad as those spots earlier in the ride. I don't have a skid plate on this, but again, the 9.4 inches of ground clearance on this ride, I'm not really too concerned about hitting the engine cases on anything. You'd always flip up a rock, but I'm going pretty slow, so I don't think that's a huge danger either. Well, I dress really warm, but I'm a little bit hot because I'm working a little harder than on my usual ride. I think once I get up to the top of this and start down, I'll be just kind of cruise at higher speeds, and at that point I'm probably going to like the layers. Again, I'm never going to race again, not with the joints that I've got, but could you race a bike like this, you know, in your older classes and so forth? I watched a 67-year-old guy posted a video where he raced something. It looked like it was a hare scramble. And I think he did 4 laps on it. I don't know how long each lap was, but my guess is he rode for an hour and a half. 67 years old, he hadn't raced in 30 years, but he had kept on trail riding through that whole stretch, so he was up on that. He looked like he was fairly competitive for the class he was in. I think he's 67, and I don't remember if he signed up for the 60 plus or the 65 plus class, or were both. But at one point, a little over halfway through the race, he was just exhausted. He pulled over and just took a 10-minute break. Was apologizing about it, but come on, man, you're 67. But the other thing that occurred to me, he was on, some competitive dirt bike. I'm sure it was a 350 or a 500. It was one of the 4-strokes. Haven't really even seen ice yet on this road to speak of. The last thing up here that I'm going to have to see if it'll stop me will be the low water crossings. There's one across the North Fork of the Sacramento, and there's another one across the Middle Fork. This was 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had a whole bunch of rain, and the river was really high, and I'm quite sure I would not have been able to do it then, but the river's back to being fairly low again, and I think there's a good chance that those low water crossings are passable again. I'm interested that the little water puddles I'm seeing don't show ice in them at all, so I don't think it froze here last night. It was a warm night at our house. I think we only got down to 40 or something, where we have been getting into the 20s. First low water crossing, and pretty much dry. Good. This usually is the worst of the two. Odds are pretty high I get to make the loop today. But one of my goals with this bike is to be able to do this Eddys loop again. And then I want to do some more exploring on some of the forest roads. And I think this is a little better suited for me than the KLX. It's about 10, 15 pounds lighter, which is not the biggest issue. I think it carries the weight lower. And I've got this, just the stock seat height is lower, which is going to make it a little easier when I go poking around on some of these forest roads and have to get turned around or something. I'm not going to do much of that, though, until we get into warm summer weather. Kind of too late in the season for that now. I'm seeing a little bit of ice here. Didn't see it up higher. Interesting. A little bit lower now I see it. Yeah, I just rode through some. Once I get to the second low water crossing for the middle fork of the Sacramento, it's really getting pretty close then to FR26, the road you always take to Gumboot Lake. Nice compression braking, which is no surprise. Makes it pretty easy coming down this. I've never seen a guard like that on a motorcycle before. Probably a good idea, protecting those cables. Again, you can see the little ring around there with all the little slots in it for the ABS. I haven't really noticed the ABS at all. It's been on, but I've had enough traction. The ABS has never interfered whatsoever. So, not a big deal. Oh, I'm getting a few raindrops. And I am wearing a rain shell, and I did bring some rain pants, but this is not enough rain to have to worry about digging out the rain pants. So as a result, at the moment, I'm just wearing kind of the usual khaki pants I wear all the time with long johns under them, and then I've got knee guards on and some thigh guards on. It's kind of like bicycle shorts with some armor in them, which adds some insulation. Of course, gives a little bit of protection if I go down. It doesn't have the abrasion resistance a real pair of riding pants would have, but I'm not going fast enough for that to be a huge deal anyway. Okay, in third gear now. And I'm sure I'm going faster than what they say the recommended brake-in speed is, but yeah, I need to get a little compression braking. And I don't want to lug it too much when I'm going downhill like this. I'm in fourth gear now. I'm sure Kawasaki's happier with me for going at a lower speed and picking a little higher gear than third, but on the other hand, it's nice in third gear when you back off the throttle, you get a little compression braking. Not so much in fourth. Well, these handlebars are a big improvement over the stock for several reasons. One is that the Pro Tapers, they don't have the cross brace across them, and they're designed to absorb some of the vibration coming through the bars, where the stock steel ones of the cross brake, let it all transmit straight through you. I think a little bit narrower, 800 versus 830 millimeters. It's not a lot, but I think I like the width of these better. And the height, could have gone with the high. Yeah, I think it would have been fine with it, but I think this mid is going to be fine too. It's a little bit taller than what the stock bars were. Makes it easier to be standing up like I am right now. I see it coming up. And I see water going under it, but I don't think it'll have it going over it. Road to my right is the one to Toad Lake. I may have to do that here soon, maybe tomorrow. Again, the clock is ticking on all these roads. They will be snowpacked, but we're drier than usual for late November and December, so everything's clear at the moment. And if it does that tonight, there could be snow on there, which could still slam the door shut where it's too late in the season to go up there anymore. Road's a little bit wet. And now I'm going downhill on a paved road and in 6th gear, so Kawasaki should be happy with me doing, according to their speedometer, 35, 36. But this is kind of ideal for cruising along in 6th gear at the speed that they want you to top out at. The lack of heated grips and heated seat and wind protection is an issue when it gets really cold and you're going a little faster, you want the wind off you. And I don't have hand guards on this bike yet. I've got them ordered. I think they're going to show up tomorrow. And I thought I was going to have a skid plate on it by now, but no joy. I sent an email to Rifle's customer support saying, did you just send me the wrong one? Or if not, doesn't work, can I just return it? I haven't heard back from them yet. But that leaves me with a head scratcher. You know, what do I do for a skid plate on this? There were others that I could try. I don't remember the exact number, but I think the KLX230S had over 10 inches, maybe 10.5 inches or so ground clearance. This has 9.4. After I lowered the KLXO, it probably was about the same ground clearance this has. And I put a skid plate on it, but when I sold it, there was not a scratch on that skid plate. I never went over anything to put a scrape or scratch on it. Not even any rocks kicked up into it. So there you go. You know, maybe it's not that big a deal. Until it is, and you need it. But I don't think I ever did anything on the KLX that needed it. I say the KLX230S. Oh, I always used to refer to the KLX, and now I got two of them to refer to. The 300 versus the 230 I'm on. I think I really didn't get started till about 10:45, so that means I will have done this in, you know, an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, which is about what I did it the last time I did the KLX230S over it, so that's pretty good.